This podcast is powered by the pros at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Scott Tabor in this morning. Scott, do you have a stock, or as Chuck kind of alluded to, an investment property you would have made that you wish you would have made 30, 40 years ago?
Bottled water.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Who would have ever seen that coming?
I know it. I had a chance back when I was
replace the garden hose.
To get in with some guys and some bottled water company. I go, you crazy? People aren't going to pay money for having money to walk around in a plastic bottle. Are you crazy?
Oh, man.
Joke's on me, brother. Joke's on me. Oh, well.
Well, it's neither here nor there. And again, that's our Morning Rush Daily question presented by Red River Dodge. Scott, I want to, if you could take us back, because I remember the emotions that ran high in our high school days, I guess 15 years ago, when we played our last soccer game. Take us back to maybe your last baseball game at the University of Arkansas and just kind of how you felt at the finality of it all.
Playing the University of Houston, we're at Houston playing the Southwest Conference tournament. If we win the game, we go to a regional. We lose the game, season's over. And we're up a couple of runs. Last inning, our starter was a freshman, Buster Lancaster. He was getting tired, had a guy up in the pen, gets a quick first out, walks the next guy, and then the guy coming up that had already hit a home run early in the game. He goes, lefty's ready? Lefty's ready? Yeah, lefty's ready. He threw one pitch, and he started him off with a changeup. Guy hit it out of the park. We lost, walked off.
Oh,
and everybody just kind of went, we're already packing the bags up. And all of a sudden you look up and you go, everybody look together, go, I guess we're done. I mean, and it's just silence, and it's a finality that's hard to describe because one day you're competing and you're thinking about the next game and your workouts and your teammates and your coaches, and then it's just done. Same way in minor league baseball, you play your last game and everybody goes back, clears out their locker, and goes back to different parts of the country. It's just a strange feeling.
Scott, do you still keep up with your teammates nowadays? I know it's harder. Everyone's got kids, wife, jobs. I mean, is that something on a regular basis?
A lot of them. Yeah, a lot of them. Some of them we still have some hunting trips, which I think last year probably be the last of that, just because of physically walking through and down through fields and trudging through cattails and all the stuff is getting harder and harder and harder. I saw Chris Shaddy yesterday, Carson Shaddy's father. He was our shortstop and fantastic player. So just, certain ones that you've become friends with and done things after baseball together for years and years and years. But you don't forget those moments, and you don't forget those times and what good times. And the older you get, the better they are. And actually, the older you get, the better you were. Is that right, Chuck? Isn't that the way that works?
That's exactly right. The older I get, the better I was.
Oh, man. Yeah. It just it exaggerates over time, doesn't it, Scott?
It does, and even statistics in different eras, and people go, hey, you couldn't have pitched in today's baseball game. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah. But I wasn't in this era. I was in the other era, and but pitching is still pitching, and hitting is still hitting, and golf. Some of the old golfers, they would never survive in today's game. Yeah, they would.
Well, I think Hagen Smith could pitch in any era. He's up for not only the Golden Spikes, but I saw yesterday the Dick Hauser. I've kind of looked at the awards. It's not every year that the player that wins the Golden Spikes wins the Dick Hauser. Do you think Hagen has a chance to take home either one of these awards or trophies?
A lot of that, they look at the overall body of work. You can't look at one game. But here's a deal that we can all take to the bank. As great as Hagen Smith is, as great as his stuff is, unhittable at times. I mean, he makes great hitters look like they're in third grade. First time they've ever played baseball. They take a swing and they go, they just give up halfway through the swing because they know they're not within 3 feet of the ball. And then his last outing, you hate to end on an unsuccessful outing.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to go out that way. They'd like to go out throwing losing a perfect game in the ninth inning on an error, or something. But it just shows that baseball players and all athletes, and these are all still kids, and even professional athletes, they're still kids, and none of them are perfect. None of them are perfect. Everything has to go right to be perfect, and it just doesn't happen. And so his talent speaks for itself His potential is off the charts. Health, as you get further up the food chain, health becomes even a bigger issue because, believe me, they talk about the grind of college baseball. There is no grind like minor league baseball. There is not. And so he'll have to learn how to deal with that, which he will. And he'll have people around him hopefully giving him good advice and taking care of him because he's going to make a lot of money, and that's something exciting to look for. But, yeah, I think he could win any award that they have because he was so dominant, and that's what they look at. It's like Condon as a hitter. He was just not a power hitter, and he was an average hitter. He's a fantastic hitter up and down the line. It's for average, his for power. You want to walk him, get intentionally walked a lot. That's a lot of respect. So I'd love to see him get everything he can get to get to the school.
We're talking with Scott Tabor here on the Morning Rush, kind of recapping what happened this baseball season. Scott, you mentioned he can't be perfect. I know there's no one more disappointed in his last outing than Hagen Smith, and I know it probably ticked him off. He gave up that 3-run shot to his Team USA teammate. But what did you see in that inning that maybe caused him to go non-Hagen Smith essentially?
That's hard to explain, and it's hard to – you can't really explain it in baseball because you could be cruising along as a pitcher. You could be cruising along, and everything you do is right. But you have to remember, on the other end of the mound, that's 60 feet 6 inches away, is a guy that's got a bat. It's not like golf where all of a sudden you could lose your drive. You just can't hit a drive. There's somebody on the other end that you could throw good pitches and still get it hit and become that great pitch turns into a failure. So there's a plus and a minus, a lot of things going on. And so he kind of lost a little bit. You miss a spot by just a little bit, you're going to get punished. The hitters hit mistakes, and he had a couple of mistakes, not horrible mistakes. He could get away with them just because of his talent. And you saw things, you could almost hear the team. You could just almost feel the air going out of the team a little bit. God, what's happening? It's just Hagen. This doesn't happen with Hagen, And so I think everybody kind of presses a little bit, and it's a do or die situation. And things will add up pretty quick.
Scott, as we talk, all that's done, and everybody for the most part's gone. They've got to rebuild the roster. You watched them this year. You watch them every year. What's your take on as they reassemble this team? What do you think maybe is going through their minds?
I think they're really going to, instead of hanging their hat on great and deep pitching and defense, okay hitting, I think they're really, really going to look harder at how they recruit hitters because you have to. You have to be able to score. And we had a great season. Don't let anybody tell you they didn't had a great, great season. They hit well enough to win, but they pitched well enough to overcome sometimes lack of hitting. And our problem this year was more than anything else, and we talked about it all season. Well, can't wait till the bats light up. Can't wait till the hitters start hitting. You can't just wait. Hitters need to be able to hit. Early in the season, pitchers are ahead. Pitchers are always ahead of hitters early in the season. And the more pitches they see during the season, and the pitchers' arms are getting a little bit tireder, and at the end of the season, you better have some bats and you better have timely hitting. And I think that's what we missed more than anything else was timely hitting. I think there are times we could have played small ball, get a run here, get a run there, get a run here, get a run there, and not go for the big inning. You always love to have a 6-inning knockout punch, but we only had that a few times. And so I think they're just going to kind of sit down and go through everything because, face it, Dave's getting older. The clock always ticks. You don't want to run out on that without getting over that hump. And we have the talent to get over the hump. It just seems every year we'll have one injuries to the pitching staff, and it's just depleted.
Do you think that excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
Do you think that, you were talking about playing small ball and doing things like that. Do you think that's something that's got to be addressed on the recruiting trail? Do you think that because I was of the opinion this year that there were points where they might have wanted to do that. Dave Van Horn, and I know the game's changed, but I got the sense many times this year that they might have wanted to do something a little bit different. They just didn't have the guys to do it. You can't turn David Ortiz into a bunter. And it just struck me a lot of times this year that they didn't have the right guy at the plate. And it wasn't that the batting order was screwed up, or it wasn't that anybody had made a bad decision. They just didn't have the right guy up there to do that. He couldn't execute that, and that's what I saw more than once this year. Yeah,
and I think part of that is on the coaching staff. I mean, everybody learns how to bunt. You learn how to bunt. I mean, I coached youth for 25 years.
Yeah, but Scott, you and I both
teach everybody how to bunt.
You watch Major League Baseball right now. You know those guys aren't laying down bunts. And when K-State bunted in the 5th inning of that second game, they were the only team in the SEC that would have done that. I mean, there was no team in the SEC that would have done that. That's what I'm saying.
Right. And I think that's a mindset. They got the mindset in their kids. If your kids buy into that, and talk about the big buy-in of every year of, what are we going to do? What are we going to be? You don't have to be one baseball team all year. I think the best baseball teams, and I think championship baseball teams, are teams who can kind of adapt to a situation. You're playing a team who's deep in pitching, and you're going to have to scratch out a run here, scratch out a run there. You don't want to wait and have to tie 3 singles together to score a run. Get the first guy on, get him over, and then let the percentages, take effect. And if you've got a guy, you rarely have anymore a guy who's a great bunter. I mean, a guy who can lay down a bunt. The third baseman's looking for it, and he still lays down a bunt and beats it out.
Right.
Those things are few and far between because that's not the way kids are raised to play anymore. You don't see any Ty Cobbs. You don't see any, Pete Roses. You don't see those guys that no matter what, they're going to get on base. That's what they want to do. And then they go steal second. And then they're probably going to steal third. And as a pitcher, having somebody who's making things happen all the time, you have to, there's more going on than just pitching. You got to keep a guy close. You got to give your catcher a chance. You got to change rhythm, and that changes a lot of things. A golf swing, if they say, "Hey Chuck, you got to hurry up and hit. You got to hurry up and hit." Probably not going to hit a great drive. You got to go through all your stuff and scratch every place that you're supposed to, and wave your shoulders and do all that. Pitchers go through the same thing every pitch, and so when that gets interrupted, then you'll see some pitchers who are fantastic until somebody gets on base.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.